Sue Raney, a familiar name for many of you, was joined by NCA Judge Terry Lineman in officiating the 2024 Penn, Ohio Newfoundland Club Water Test held on Lake Pymatuning. I consider it quite lucky that Sue was willing to sit with me at Lakeside early in the morning before the start of third day testing for the unrehearsed interview you will watch here. Sue recounted what is by now decades of experience that she and her family share with the Newfoundland breed. Family-centered involvement with the Newfoundlands began early and in the rare circumstance of her sons being at the time of preschool age. As Sue presents it, matters evolved quite naturally from there into working activities that would later comprise Sue's years of devotion in the NCA Working Dog Committee, Newfoundland Rescue, and Sue's becoming so well known and trusted as an NCA judge. We have exhibited under Sue's watch in both water and in draft, but equally great, we have exhibited alongside Sue when she too was working in water. Just as you would expect once you get a feeling for Sue and her nurturing approach to both people and the dogs, Sue works and exhibits with her own dogs in the same style she role models as an NCA judge. Sue closed our conversation with the memorably touching story of how Bailey, the Raney's current Newfoundland, came to the family. Sue, thanks so much for agreeing to be with us today and this weekend. Remind the audience who you are, please.
I'm Sue Raney, and I'm from Denver, Colorado.
And as you know, we're here at Lake Pymatuning, Jamestown, Pennsylvania, Penn, Ohio Newfoundland Club. And why are you here?
For the Penn, Ohio Newfoundland Club Water Test weekend as one of the judges.
In that you are, and for that we're intensely grateful. Your earliest memories of a Newfoundland?
The very first dog show we went to, and I laid eyes on the dogs that were there showing. We were there to look for a dog for our family, and my first thoughts were, oh my gosh, they're so big.
But you're at a dog show, so you're already interested in dogs, and if I'm right, you said you wanted a family dog.
Correct. We were looking for a pet to add to our family of 2 little boys, and active lifestyle, and Newfoundlands fit the bill for that.
When did you begin to actually work with the Newfoundland? This would have been after you brought a dog home into the family, but when did you become aware of, interested in work?
I would say probably 6 months after we owned our Newfoundland dog. The breeder that we went through to add Mountie to our family insisted we joined our local club. It was part of her contract. We were just looking for a family pet, and to be able to experience all of the different things that Newfoundlands do quickly and learn about them that way was incredible for us. It opened all kinds of doors to things we didn't even know about before.
Now, at the time, your 2 boys were pretty young, true?
Mm-hmm. 3 and 5.
So you were looking into work activity with a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old at home?
No, it just kind of grew with our family and our dog. We were thinking that, oh, it'd be fun to have a big dog to go hiking with. And it turned into, oh, we got to learn about puppy obedience class. Oh, we got to learn about a whole world of sports that we didn't even know existed.
And with that, was this something that mostly you and Mr. Raney were doing while the boys were off doing other things, or did the boys also get involved?
The boys got involved too. Our first piece of working with our dog was probably learning how to cart. Our club did cart rides at Christmas time, and our boys thought that was the best thing ever. He would haul home the bikes when everybody was tired in his wagon, and we just found so many ways to adapt those skills to everyday life with the dogs. It was really fun.
When did you and the family become first aware of water work?
Probably that first year. Our club did a water seminar, so we went to go find out what it was all about. Mountie wasn't the best of swimmers, but The boys loved it. They loved going to the lake, and they loved being able to play in the water with the dogs. They started being volunteer drowners from a very early age and would have so much fun just experiencing the outdoors with our dog that way. As they got older, they stayed engaged with other dogs that came into our lives as well. And I think it opened a whole new world for all of us.
When did you begin to actually exhibit in work activity, draft, water, other?
We exhibited a little bit with our first Newfoundland, but it was probably our second Newfoundland that got me most involved in obedience with our dog, rally, and draft and water as well. Being a younger, energetic family, they were welcoming and encouraged us to get involved. So right away we were helping with events and stewarding and making it kind of a part of our lives, that new sports, a part of our family makeup.
Do you recall the first time a Newfoundland in your family was awarded a title in water?
Yes, I think I cried a lot, but it's such a special moment when all those things come together. There are so many moving parts in a water title, and to be able to have that partnership with your dog that puts every little piece together in the same moment at the same time. I think our dogs are very capable, Newfoundlands in general, and can do all these things, but to put everything together to match up with a set of standards in one moment in time is very difficult. And when you finally get all of that together, there's nothing like that. It must be like winning the Olympic gold medal or something, in my experience, because it's so rewarding.
So by the time you get your first title, you've been at it long enough to understand the harder than it looks statement.
Definitely.
Which you now know to be intensely true.
Definitely.
True? Well, you've just walked us through your first water title, and it was a deeply emotional moment when all elements came together, as you put it, for the first time. Very moving to you. How did you go from that to where we are now with Sue Raney?
My parents did a really good job of instilling involvement in all of us and giving back. And one of the wonderful ways I think I've found connection and be able to give back to the things I love and think about all of the people who have helped me along the way is to be able to continue to be involved in these ways. I think it's also just for the love of the breed. It makes it joyful to be able to be a part of it in a bigger and broader way. To be able to go across the country and meet people and dogs that are doing exactly the same thing that we're doing at home, we're doing in our backyard, and to be able to share that experience and those stories is priceless to me.
Your use of the term giving back, and that's why you got involved as a leader and as a judge, doesn't surprise me at all. That's very much the way I experience you, and I believe other people do as well. But even then, a judge may give back in different ways. Some judges, for example, have masterful command, technically, of the subject matter. Others are mostly concerned about nurturing people who are not confident in the work. What do you like to give?
I hope that I bring a sense of joy and help new people and enjoy the moment rather than be so nervous. That's really what my goal is every time I'm on the beach with people, and I hope that shows. It's so hard to put everything together in the one moment, and I hope I try to give people a little bit of calm and relaxing for that.
Do you agree that a relaxed exhibitor is a relaxed dog?
Oh, yes.
Inverse of that, a tense, on-edge exhibitor, a dog that's likely to have difficulty focusing?
Definitely. Yeah, I think the more that you can be relaxed, the more that translates to your dog to be like, oh, I know this. We've been doing this all summer long. So
Sue, am I right that your official involvements in the NCA have been more directed towards working activity than the world of confirmation?
that is true, yes.
Imposing a little bit of my own belief, seems to me that confirmation is still important.
Oh,
Making
definitely.
reasonable decisions about breeding still critically important.
Definitely. There's that phrase, form follows function, and without the attention to detail that breeders provide to making sure we have healthy, happy, quality dogs, this wouldn't even be possible. Though I don't participate, I really value the confirmation side for those things.
It's often said that the Newfoundland possesses many characteristics that are essential conformationally. But it's sometimes said, often said, that the Newfoundland's temperament is the most important trait. It is the trait that must not be compromised. What does the Newfoundland temperament mean to you?
It means everything. There is nothing that we do that doesn't involve or need a happy, well-rounded dog that loves to be with people. And the Newfoundland is the embodiment of that. And if we lose that piece of the dog, we lose everything.
Can you recall the instance in your life when you were around a Newfoundland and you were struck by the creature's temperament that so informs the opinions you now have?
I spent 2 years chairing our rescue program at a time where we had an influx of dogs coming in, not only from local rescues, but a national push. We took in, I think, we must have taken in 12 dogs from out of our area that needed rehoming. Many of them, though they weren't necessarily structurally sound, still had that wonderful temperament that you said, aha, this dog, no matter what, is going to be a survivor and going to be well-fitting with a new family. In the instances that we didn't have dogs with good temperament, I can only liken it to a huge, out of control tank. They're so big and they have so much strength and power, and if that temperament isn't happy-go-lucky Newfoundland-like, it is incredibly hard for anyone to be able to handle or control that kind of a powerful animal. And it's not what our Newfoundlands are about, and that was heartbreaking to me. So when
Because these are rescue dogs displaying temperament that would make them a very difficult placement.
Correct.
Fit, and see you fear for what their future will be.
Correct.
We've agreed on the merits of careful Newfoundland breeding regarding their conformation, and you use the word health several times. And for a giant breed, the Newfoundland lives a long time, and the Newfoundland is a healthy dog. And the breeding has had enough oversight and enough smart people engaged in a caring way that this is a very genetically sound breed.
Definitely.
But the dogs still don't live as long as we would hope. You've been at this long enough that you have bonded deeply to dogs that you've lost. How do you move on with another dog?
It's hard not to compare, and I think that's true with parents. It's hard not to compare Matt and Chris, but they are still their own individuals, and they have their own individual quirks of personality, strengths, and things that make them uniquely special in their own way. There are some times where I look at Bailey now and go, it's so sad that you're not Ruka, but in a fun way anymore, because he brings joy totally in his own way, and learning in his own way keeps me fresh to be able to try to figure out what makes the next dog tick and how we communicate and build partnership is actually quite fun. But the one in front of you is just as wonderful and has its own journey to take that makes all of the activity worthwhile.
Again, you've been at this for decades. Is there any one dog you particularly remember, or any one dog that has particularly struck you?
The first Newfoundland we ever met was Tonto. He was a big winning show dog. He was the one we met ringside our first Newfoundland, and he was ginormous, but so sweet. And getting ready to go in the breed ring, we didn't know any different at the time, and it was his owner handling, and she was like, "Sure, come pet him." Everybody else was like, "Oh my God, you petted the show dog before he went in the ring," and we're like, "Oh." He was just so welcoming and happy to be there. So,
meaning that the horror was that there might be a hair out of place,
yeah,
and so on.
I might wrinkle his coat. But I didn't, thank goodness. Every single one of our own Newfoundlands have been incredibly special in their own way. Mountie was a Shakespearean actor. Ruka was an incredible delight in everything she did. Sadie was a top 10 obedience dog. They all have different strengths that brought us our own joy. So it's hard to, and Quinn, he did everything. It's hard to pinpoint which one was the most special to me, because they've all been wonderful, wonderful.
Sue, you mentioned Bailey, Newfoundland Bailey, a moment ago in our talk. Bailey is your current Newfoundland, currently in the home.
Uh-huh.
Bailey's how old?
Bailey's 3, and he came to us in kind of a unique way. He was our COVID puppy, not by design, I guess. My friend Jan Curtis had a litter. They were born in the summer of 2020, so they were 10, 12 weeks when it was becoming fall, and my friend Catherine said, "Let's go visit the puppies." So we go drive down to Jan's and we play with the puppies, and there's this adorable little black puppy. He was a green puppy in the litter at the time, and Catherine said, "Oh, that green puppy, Sue, you really need that green puppy." I said, "No, I do not need another puppy." So we came home, and Catherine would call me and say, "You still have that puppy waiting in the wings." And I said, "No, I don't want a puppy." And then Catherine got sick and ended up in the hospital with COVID. And probably the last time I chatted with her, before she was admitted, she reminded me, don't forget, you need that green puppy." And while I really didn't need the green puppy, her thoughts stuck with me, and he continued to pull on my heart. In mid-November, I called Jan and said, "Is the puppy still available?" And she said, "Yes, he's had your name on it forever." So we brought Bailey home, and Catherine and I were big Christmas fans. So Bailey is named after George Bailey in our favorite movie, It's a Wonderful Life. And if you watch the movie, you know, the angel gets his wings and the bells ring when angels get their wings. And every time I hear bells ring, I think about Bailey, and I think about how Catherine brought him into my life. I miss her dearly every day, but I also have Bailey thanks to Catherine. So.